Park Commission meeting for April 4th at, 6:31. Could we raise for the allegiance to the flag? Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First on the agenda is to approve the agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve?
I motion.
Thank you. And a second?
I'll second it.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve?
I motion.
And I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Open forum. Anyone here for open forum?
Doug, can you put your mic up, please?
Oh,
Thank you.
no one here for open forum. We'll close open forum and go on to our action items. First on the agenda is the council update.
Thank you, committee members. So one thing I wanted to bring to attention is that the city council is looking at getting lighting on Deerwood, which is just south of Hayden Hills neighborhood there. It's been a request of the citizens. As part of that, we had the staff look at pricing out a path along that road as well. Many of the citizens along there complained that with the increase in traffic comparatively to when the golf course was there, they can no longer go for their evening walks and do things like that. So they did get that priced out. I think it came in at $250?
Yeah, $250.
To get that done. So I would say if we're going to do the lights, it kind of makes sense to do it all at once. So it'd be something I would recommend that the committee take time discussing tonight, and maybe motion forward to council if that's something you decide is worthwhile. I personally believe that as we put new developments up, especially right in the middle of existing developments like Hayden Hills, we should be trying to bring the citizens that have lived here for a long time along with that, kind of move forward. And part of that, I think, is connecting those neighborhoods together with paths. There's a really nice park that the city and the committee have invested a lot of time and resources into in Hayden Hills. And I think creating a nice path for those families to get there and access that kind of brings them along so they can use that park more readily and makes them feel like they're part of that new neighborhood, and everyone kind of gets together a lot better.
So where are you recommending the path going to the park from?
The path already goes to the edge of the Hayden Hills development, right on Deerwood there. So the path they had looked at, Marty, correct me if I'm wrong, goes from that point all the way up to 120. Yeah, thank you.
Are you describing the scope of the work then, of what they're going to do, just a couple of paths? Is that it, or what
It's just
exactly?
going to be a sidewalk, I think, is what we're preliminary looking at.
No, this is a sidewalk, not a trail? right there?
Correct. Yep.
Does that 250 include the lighting?
No.
Nope, that was just for the trail
And the
itself.
lighting was like 40.
It's okay. No, you
Okay,
know
well,
more than I do.
I'm kind of confused exactly what this is all for. If you can kind of describe it, what exactly you're proposing and what the 250 exactly is for.
Yeah, so we're putting the 250 is not for the lights. We're looking at putting lighting on Deerwood.
Okay.
Okay. And if we're gonna rip up that area to put the lighting up anyways, we can put the path along with it, which then gives the residents of that neighborhood, and I forget the name of the neighborhood off the top of my head. Do you know what it is? South of Hayden Hills there?
It's Donahue Dells.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Donahue
Donahue Dells, that area gives them access into the new Hayden Hills Park area as well, which is a fairly busy road. If you've ever tried to walk that road at a 4:30 to 5 o'clock in the afternoon, there's a lot of cars going up and down that road. And the people that live there beforehand had a golf course, so they would get a couple cars here or there, and that's about it. And so it's been a drastic change for that neighborhood. So what we looked at having done was putting in a walking path, use the right term, sidewalk,
Yeah.
that would run on the east side of Deerwood, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so will there be property that has to be taken over or something like that, or easeways or anything like that?
We already have, according to the feedback that we got, we have the appropriate easements already to do so.
Okay.
So it's just the cost of putting in the walking path.
And then plus adding the lights?
Yep, but that would not come out of the Parks Committee budget at all. That's all the city would be
So
covering that.
I see what you're talking about, just having a sidewalk come out of the Parks budget, is that what you're saying?
Well, it would be coming out of the Parks and Trails. I forget. Trails. Yeah, I gotta look at the name of it. I have it in my email, but
Yes.
Could you clarify for me, a trail and a sidewalk, is that the difference between asphalt and cement?
Marty.
Not generally speaking, it's usually defined by the width, but in this in the city at the moment, most of our sidewalks are concrete, and the trails are all blacktop. It's usually the difference in width. The sidewalk is usually 4 feet wide, and trails is 8 to 10 feet wide.
And what did we get the estimate on?
Concrete.
Concrete. Okay. So it'd be a sidewalk in this case.
Yeah.
Are you looking for the Park Commission's approval of this? Is that what you're?
I'd like to know thoughts and if it's something you guys think is recommended to do while we're there doing the work anyways, for sure.
It'd be nice to see a more detailed plan of the.
You know everything I know at this point in time, Jack, so this is,
Well, I'm just.
you are as up to date as I am, I guarantee
I'm
it.
just saying,
Yep.
it's very vague, you don't know how many feet, how wide exactly, we're just finding out now that it'll probably be concrete and, just be nice to know exactly what the scope is before yay
But
or
at the
nay.
standard.
Yeah, so how this came to be is we were talking about putting lights up there, and we also then brought up the sidewalk thought
Okay.
as well. And so we asked the city to get a quote on what the sidewalk, approximate sidewalk would cost. So we kind of knew, we haven't sent it out to bid, but we did look at it and looked at like the trees and everything else in there to make sure it was doable, and it's all physically doable without removing any.
There's two things. There's one tree and a hydrant that may need to be worked around, but that's not a big impingement on the actual
Okay.
sidewalk.
I appreciate you bringing up the site there for us.
Yep.
And it'd be
So right now the path currently ends like right there.
Okay,
Bring it down.
It does not, it ends right where it should.
right
Up
on the
here?
top there by the pond.
Up there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good evening, Parks Chair and members of the Parks Commission. The current sidewalk ends just on the edge, basically, of the Hayden Hills new park that was installed
yep, okay.
Just that.
ago. And so that's right here. So in order to extend it down this way, south, to connect the Donahue Dells development via sidewalk to the
Okay.
Hayden Hills development, and then extend that sidewalk, as you can see, the easement's already been acquired, and send it down to 129th or County Road 121 would be the cost of the $250,000
Okay,
amount. The lights are proposed to go on the left-hand side or the west side of the road currently if we do not do the sidewalk. Our thought would be to, if we did the sidewalk, we would move the lights to the same side as the sidewalk to illuminate the sidewalk and not just the road. The ones on the roadway, which had been requested, were more like a dome light, so they were taller and then being able to shine across the road, so you'd see across the road when you're driving down the road, and you could see pedestrians walking. If you did the ones along the sidewalk, you'd likely do the same thing you did in Bleasy Farms or in Hayden Hills, where it'd be more of a decorative light that would just be able to shine on the
would it be a light
trail.
you did along Pineview?
Not that many lights,
Not
right?
that many lights, but similar
Not-
style.
Yeah, similar style
Okay,
or something.
well-
Like I said, if you drive through the Bleasy Farms development when you go home tonight or
Okay, so
sometime
it's
next
not
week.
going to be like you did on the trail there,
Yeah.
farther
It's
apart.
currently proposed for 4 lights along that stretch of roadway. And that's one every 250 feet or something like that.
Something in that.
I'm just guessing,
range, yeah.
but that's if the council wants to do it. I think what Councilmember Trost is asking is, does the Parks Commission feel like that's a need, or that's just more of a we should wait and see if we have any interest in it? I guess that's what Councilmember Trost is asking the Parks Commission tonight.
Years ago, I introduced it at a dark sky initiative, and Tim McNeil took that project over, and we did use on Pineview, we did use dark sky certified lighting. Unfortunately, it was they were way too tall and too close together, so. But in any case, do we still have an ordinance? At one point, we hadn't a dark sky ordinance?
As far as I know, we still operate with a dark sky policy, so we are still operating under that. That's why we always have down-facing lights. That's kind of the major consideration that we look at in those.
And if you're using LEDs,
Yeah.
it's going to be different about how many lumens you're going to get and how spread out they're going to be,
Yeah.
depending on the fixture. So that's what they learned on Pineview.
So yeah, the Pineview thing was done by the manufacturer's recommended spacing for safety and security. We actually did extend it a little bit out further than that to get some more spacing in between those, so the cost of the lighting came down. But that is around about what the manufacturer would recommend for that.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I think that we've got a little bit safer neighborhood than we do downtown Minneapolis, so might be able to change that standard slightly.
Well, you don't. That's just the maker's recommended. You know, if you don't want the whole thing illuminated all the way down, then you just space them as far apart as you want. So that's what we would do on this. It'd probably be 4, 6 lights, maybe. I don't know.
How will this fit in with our other trail projects? Would it take precedence over the other trails that we're working on?
The council hasn't gotten any further than just figuring out how much it would cost, so I'm sure it'll come up. But again, I think it's just important for us to understand your thoughts on the matter.
I think it makes sense to put in the trail at the same time you're putting in lights. Ultimately, you're going to want a trail there, so in my opinion, might as well do it at the same time. It's save cost overall.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree and share your sentiments. You know, if this neighborhood is interested in that, which it sounds like they have, I think it makes sense. You know, they've been given this extra traffic. Is it commonplace to send a survey out or something to the residents, or do you normally gather feedback for a project like this, or?
It's not normally what we've done because we haven't retrospectively done too many of these things.
Okay.
I think this is probably the first retrospective one that we've done. So we could consider doing that, see if there is any feedback on that. But obviously, Matt's had some contact with residents over there requesting this, so there is some interest.
One person in that neighborhood I could pick his brain on.
Yeah, but
It was a common trend when I was knocking on doors on that, specifically that street, any street that went into Hayden Hills, as the traffic has gone up exponentially,
Makes sense.
and any help that we can get for sidewalks and stuff for our kids and our family to have a safe place to bike or do whatever would be appreciated. So everyone I talked to brought that up. I didn't talk to everyone. Not everyone answers the door, so there's that.
I would think that properly lighting it would be also as important. If you're going to put the sidewalk in there, properly lighting it and not having dark spaces along there where you can't see if someone's walking on the sidewalk or coming to step out into the street there. That's going to be part of it. And
Okay, so what are you looking for?
Just the committee's thoughts
Right.
on,
Okay,
on
well-
putting up a sidewalk, to use the appropriate term, on the east side of, I lost the name of the street after saying it 4 times.
Deerwood.
Deerwood, thank you.
Do we need a motion?
Nope, I'm just curious.
just, our thoughts, well, our feedback is to know the scope of it and
Excuse me, Jack. So the conclusion that we're making is that we endorse the program of lighting and the sidewalk, right?
yeah, I would agree with that, yeah.
I'm asking specifically about the sidewalk. I think the lighting will probably happen one way or the other. The
Yeah.
question is, would lighting be on this side without the sidewalk or that side with the sidewalk? And lighting will be different depending upon if there's a sidewalk or not.
I believe what we're saying is we're in agreement.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for bringing it up.
Anything else in the council update?
I think that's the only thing that particularly pertains to the committee. So thank you.
Okay, then, in our regular meeting, feedback on the EDA and historic village trails. Who can carry us through that?
Good evening, Parks Chair, and members of the Parks Commission. I am here on behalf of the EDA tonight to be able to get some feedback for your thoughts on the Historic Village Framework Plan. As a little context, this Historic Village Framework Plan, I'm not sure who or what has been worked on this over the years. It was adopted in 2005 and worked on in 2004 as part of the 2030 comp plan. and it has never been amended or anything done with it. Basically, it was adopted and then shelved for eternity, essentially. And the EDA has looked into trying to revitalize some sort of thought process behind the historic village and making sure that we are thinking about everything when we're looking at the historic village in total before we make a decision on anything down there. This is revolving around the property that we do own currently. And so this has kind of spiraled into what do we really want in that historic village area. So what they are looking for tonight from the Parks Commission is their feedback on parks area and trails in this historic village framework plan, specifically. Also, they'd like to see and try to get your feedback on how you feel like we can connect this historic village to other trails in the community so that we can utilize this area to the best of its ability. We do know of a few other trails that are going to be developed over the next few years, some of which are Three Rivers Trails, which is basically a trailhead that is going to be at would be just east of the Gooden Park at the end of Lawndale, basically. Just east of there, the Three Rivers Park District purchased a piece of property next to it to be able to start a trailhead system there. So there will be many more things that come from that Three Rivers Park District. Obviously, that's not being administered by the city of Dayton, but is being administered by the Three Rivers Park District. But trying to make sure how we incorporate all of this together so that we are incorporating funds and not just trying to overlap each other. So I will stand for questions and any comments that you have tonight. I will be taking notes, and then these will be going back to the EDA meeting in April, so in 2 weeks-ish. Thank you very much.
So is this trailhead part of the waterway trails? that we're
It has
doing?
been
Is it that
incorporated
same
into,
one?
it's the exact same one, that is
I just wanted to make sure it
correct.
was the same one.
Yes, that is the same one.
Okay.
How much property do we own down there now?
I believe we own, we own 4 that are open vacant lots. We obviously own the activity center and the fire station portion, so that's 2 or 3 parcels down there. I believe, I think I have a map actually on my.
Well, as far
Aha, I
as
got
trails
it.
go, is there any reason why we can't
What's that?
believe that the streets will stay the same location?
And the streets will likely stay the same. So if you look at the Historic Village Framework Plan, the only one that got adjusted was the far north street. I forget that. Levy Street, I believe that's the name of it. It got kind of bent in the middle in order to create more of a focal point on the Sue McLean Park area. I'm not sure if that will work. The EDA had some comments to see if that'll even work in total, but I would presume that the streets would stay the exact same location as they are today. The only one that may change, I forget the one down the center, I believe it's Baxter Avenue, would create a boulevard. So that is one thing on this map, that Baxter basically expands slightly in order to create a boulevard walking path down the center island of that main or middle strip of the historic village. With the map that you're seeing up here tonight, the red dots or the red areas are the areas that are owned by the city of Dayton. So when I spoke about a couple of properties and which ones we actually own, we own all of the red ones. Obviously across the street with Sue McLean Park, we own that as well as the city, but I couldn't highlight it because it wouldn't highlight when I did the picture map thing. So across would be the top, the north of the picture that you're seeing, basically to the right of that triangle wedge is Sue McLean Park that we have the gazebo at and the stuff at there. So that is Sue McLean Park. That is also owned by the city of Dayton. It's kind of in gray. Yep. Right there, yep. But everything else in red is owned by the city of Dayton. So, but I would presume that most of the streets would stay in the same location they are today.
So on a map that was sent out a while ago, I think you shared it with us, Marty, with the proposed trails. It shows a proposed trail all along Dayton Road.
Yep.
Is that, I mean, we'll talk about trails later, I suppose, but is that something that we have like enough right-of-way for the section from the trailhead? Because I watched the EDA and they were wanting to connect the trailhead to the historic village, which makes perfect sense. Mm-hmm. Is that something that's relatively feasible, and how is working with the county on something like that?
That trail is the West Mississippi Trail, I believe, and that's
Is it part of that?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what that all is there.
And that one, I believe, was going to be something that we would work on with Three Rivers.
Three Rivers is, yeah. There's probably going to be some right-of-way required for that, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's a pretty wide trail.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the focus would be obviously there's a few trails that do not exist today in this map that you're looking at from the Historic Village Framework Plan. The ones that connect both Slab Town and Historic Village don't exist today. That would take a bridge. And obviously Slab Town and then basically up near where the connection of Brockton and Dayton River Road does not exist today either. So, and then that would go to future way to Goodwin Island. Unsure if that will even happen in total, but we can all dream. So, but yeah, I guess the main focus of the EDA was to get the trails feedback. If you would like anything adjusted or added or subtracted from this map, would be what we're looking for tonight.
Two bridges over to Slabtown seems to be a pretty heavy lift, isn't it?
I thought one of them was a zip line.
I mean, I think it looks good. You know, I like the idea of trying to connect it to, when the time comes, to the trailhead. Incorporates the water trail and all that.
Well, I think in town, there should be sidewalks on all four sides of the block. So sidewalks on both sides of the street.
For every street or like the main thoroughfare? Robinson and Baxter?
Well, what have we got there? We got,
I believe there is sidewalks, at least on this plan that I can see, on Baxter and Robinson, and then likely just for the first block, basically extending from Robinson, north and south, would have some sidewalks, but nothing east and west on any of the further streets. So it would be Levy and then, oh boy, can you read that one, Matt, on the bottom? Dayton.
Dayton Street.
Oh, Dayton Street, yep. So I don't believe on this map there is sidewalks on Dayton Street running east and west, or on Levy Street running east and west. If you think that is something that you'd like to see changed or adjusted in the plan, that is something that we can do. I don't believe they exist today.
And it's on one side.
One on one side, but not on the other side.
Oh, wait, no. I tell a lie, it's on both sides, down on Dayton Street.
I think so.
Okay.
well, is that Old Town going to stay as a residential area, or is it going to turn into a commerce center?
The current guidance for that area is mixed use. So I would say it would be both. I don't believe the ultimate goal of that area would be to remove all residential, just due to the nature of the properties in that area.
Right.
Some of it would make sense if we're able to use development in order to fulfill some other needs that we have in the area, specifically along Robinson Street, hypothetically, but I don't believe the nature of the entire area would make sense to do commercial or some sort of commerce area.
The first policy of the framework, promote a range of land uses and activities, including commercial, residential, service, office, and public spaces to rejuvenate the village. So
That's
I read
correct.
that as, maybe the downtown strip has a little more commercial, but
You got it.
we need plenty of people living down there too.
You got it.
So what do you want to do with sidewalks? You've got sidewalks on, what, the east-west, but not the north-south?
Yeah, they are currently, looks like they're currently, at least from what I can show in the picture, would be proposed on all north-south connection, but not east-west connection routes.
As I'm looking at this, I'm seeing 7 or 8 brown buildings, which is high-density residential.
That is correct.
Anything, time you throw an apartment building in there, you're going to more than likely get sidewalks around that building, correct?
That's
Usually
fine.
what
That
we're
would be
gonna
the
see.
hope. That would be the hope.
Yeah, so that's going to add some of your sidewalks there already.
Correct.
as part of the development.
Yeah, so is the direction of the Parks Commission to add as many sidewalks as possible or promote walking paths, basically, in order to promote the walkability of this area? I think
Right.
that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it should be part of the plan,
Okay.
because high density, is going to dictate that, so you got to incorporate it so you're matching what they got, not conflicting against it,
Correct.
you know.
Create pedestrian-friendly linkages within a 5 and 10-minute walking distance of historic village. So that aligns with the framework, I'd say, yeah.
And we'll make sure that's noted as well to make sure that you can clearly
Yeah.
dictate that there's going to be sidewalks or planned sidewalks on each one of those
Foster more walkable.
side roads and such.
How is the Three Rivers Trail gonna come in? Is it gonna go across the main highway there, or is it gonna go across up into Slabtown?
Are you talking about the West Mississippi Regional Trail? Is that what you're
Yep.
confirming with?
I don't think it goes into Slabtown. I
It
think
does
it
not.
goes, just follows the river road, basically.
That is correct.
From what I understand of it, it doesn't go up, divert up into the Wright County area at all.
Nope. So this would be the end, basically, of the line for the West Mississippi Regional Trail. It would likely continue on the same north side of the road. At some point, I don't know, I think currently there's a farm at one spot, probably utilize that route somehow or some way in order to connect up the trails in this area to that West Mississippi Regional Trail.
Right, the West Mississippi Regional Trail would terminate in Old Town,
Yes.
but then the Crow-Hessen Regional Trail would start there and then go south from there.
I would hope they'd coordinate efforts to make that happen. That would be the likely idea, yes.
That's the plan.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah, there's mention of a regional trail connection on the Slabtown side. Is that probably that trail you're referring to, Jack? If you pull up that map, right here it says regional trail connection.
Yeah, I see that.
I assume, I don't know what regional trail is on that side of the river. I'm not familiar, but
Yeah, I see it here,
I
yeah.
think
that's
you're
the
right.
idea.
I think you're right, Chair Baines. It would be the Crow-Hassan.
You're on 5-8,
I
right?
would think so.
yes, I'm on 5-1, but I think the map shows it on both.
And that is the reason why those bridges are looking over at to connect up to Slabtown, is to be able to connect those two areas to promote walkability between that. Right now, currently, you have to drive in order to get to Slabtown, no matter which way you go. And I guess you could zip line or fly, but it'd be a little difficult at times.
There used to be a ferry back in the day.
Yeah, hand ferry.
You guys can handle that, right?
Damn straight.
You got a boat in a shed somewhere, I bet.
Old pontoon, that's all you need.
I think the last time I heard from the county, or Three Rivers Park, they were not interested in adding more bridges and using the highway infrastructure was adequate for them. I don't know if that's gonna give them the width that they need, or maybe the bridge there needs to be widened.
Yeah, because I think that from what I can recall from that, it was a cost saving thing. The bridges across the Crow were an expensive project. I thought one of them was about $1 million just to get one short access, and they were going to widen the bridge coming into Dayton and have some sidewalk on the side of that to accommodate pedestrian traffic. I don't know what the time frame is on that. They would definitely have to widen that bridge from what it is now.
The proposed regional trail on the water trail presentation we got goes across the bridge. I'm looking at it here, so. Right across
Yeah.
there, so.
Yeah, so if we want to line that up, then we would remove one or both of those connections. I would assume that you'd want to reflect what Three Rivers is doing today versus what we had in this historic village framework plan back in 2004.
Is this a project that the city could undertake if we want to put those bridges across there? Or is this something that we're looking to partner with Three Rivers Park District
We
or
could,
something like
the
that?
city could, if we feel like that is needed, we could most certainly do that part of the project. It probably wouldn't meet Three Rivers standards, but it would still work. I don't know if we would need both of those in order to fulfill that need. We may just need one of them, but we could still look at doing two. I just want to make sure we're updating things if we see other entities doing some adjustments, we should adjust our plan when we have that new information, so.
Yeah, I could see value in that really convenient direct connection across from Slabtown, but at the same time, is it worth putting a whole bridge? I'm not sure if there's interest or desire for that.
Yeah, what do the residents of that area want too?
Yeah, and I don't know what it's like to take a
mean-
trail from. It's been a while since I've been to Slabtown.
I mean, how many residences are we talking about in that area? And with the
That's
future
not,
development that
20,
are,
30 parcels?
Yeah, something like that, 20, 30
is
homes
it
over
20
there.
or 30 homes, something like
Yeah.
that? So we're talking 50 residents? I'm just going to rule around
Yeah.
that. I don't know.
But you might bring some other residents from the developments out there going up in Otsego as well, that would
Right.
use this and bring those to into town as well.
Yeah, that'll all be developed, and I think it's the closest bar around is the Dayton bar. Let's be reasonable about this thing.
The commerce we've got.
yeah,
He could have said the church, but he had to go for the bar.
if it's open.
Well, there's a discussion. What else do we need?
Yeah, I just need direction. Do you want to keep both bridges, or do you just want one? Or a discussion, I just didn't hear any final resolution.
I think two is too many personally. I think just one is, because that's an awfully big expense for the whole city to take on just for a small area.
Yeah, we should start with one.
I agree.
Yeah.
I heard one. Which one are we leaving?
That one,
On
the one
figure
that,
5-1, the one that's going north-south. Eliminate the east-west.
Yes.
personally, money-wise, whichever one's the cheapest one to
Yeah,
build.
it's all-
Because,
yeah.
if you get into some bad soils on one, you
Yeah.
can double and triple the price. I would,
I would
preferably-
assume the one that goes north-south would
Would
be
be-
cheaper
okay,
because of the elevation differences. The other one is going to be much higher.
yeah,
And I
okay.
I think when we're talking about funding as well, you got to remember there's probably a lot of grant funding that we can apply for this. The effort would be to not have the city pay for everything. We would be looking for grant funding for as much of this, kind of like the water trail deal.
Well, the bridge going into the very center of town.
Yeah, versus
Is-
into the terminus of Dayton Road and Brockton.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think
No.
that makes sense. No, I'm saying as
Yeah.
opposed to that one, the north-south
Yeah.
one would, I think, make more sense.
Yeah, again, this is a plan. Doesn't mean that this is going to be the ultimate plan. Like, we
Right,
can never change
right.
it. But the idea would be that we have a concrete plan that we're able to operate on in the next 15 years so we can use something to drive us. And if we're looking at both bridges, that may inhibit if we want to do them. But if we're looking at just one for now, and we can always add the other one later, is a
One
good
that
way
I'm
to start.
talking about is the center of Slab Town to the center of Dayton.
Sure.
Old Town.
Yep.
Yep.
Is that the one that Parks?
it'd be the north, running
Yep.
north,
Okay.
not east-west.
So Zach, sorry, if we eliminate that other bridge at this time, does it just disappear off the plans, or do we keep it there as an option?
We would add it possibly as like a temporary thing, or maybe really far out, basically make a
Yeah.
dotted line or something like future connection, but not current.
Yeah,
The other one we would leave as a solid line of a connection point.
Yeah.
Again, this isn't supposed to be like a end-all be-all idea, but it's just more or less a direction point that we can start with.
I just don't want to lose that other idea if we do want to come back later on, that we know where it's proposed
So-
for.
Yeah, just leave it there as a footnote.
Yep, footnote, and like I said, we can leave a dotted line and say, possible connection in the future.
Okay. What's next?
Any other comments on parks or trails in that area? Otherwise, I'm just here for questions and answers.
There was, when we were talking about the water trail, there was discussion of a potential spot on the Crow River. And did anything ever come of that, I guess?
Not yet.
Okay.
There's an area that maybe in this area
Oh, okay.
that's available, but that's ways down the line.
Okay.
So it's not going to be part of phase one. That's probably going to be phase 2
Okay.
or 3, somewhere further down the line.
Sure. I was just thinking because it's near Old Town, or near the historic village.
It'd be awfully close to the existing access on the Mississippi there.
DNR access?
Yeah. at the mouth of the river.
Yeah, you've got the DNR landing there, plus. And in talking to the people that have canoed that area, there's some serious shallow water issues in the curl as it gets into Dayton, and so it might not be as feasible as I was hoping it would be.
So when the ladies from MSA paddled that, they managed to paddle all the way down the Crow and round to the confluence, and they didn't have too many problems there. It was more on the Mississippi where they were bottoming out a little bit around the island of Goodin but that was in November, so
Yeah.
I think it would be good to have an access point on the Crow.
Well, you've got the DNR landing, and then you need, what, one or two upstream from,
Yeah. Well, we're looking at probably 4 possible points, 3 on the Mississippi, 1 on the Crow currently is what we're looking at. That's not to say that there won't be other access points. There may be some emergency access points for the fire department to put their boats in that we can also utilise. We're looking at some FEMA opportunities for those kind of things as well. But, this thing will grow as we do. But I think it's important to have that other access to the Crow River as well.
And the idea is that this access would be more geared towards smaller craft, like canoes and kayaks.
Yeah, it's
right?
not going to have motorized vehicles
Right.
going in the water at these kayak
Maybe less
launches.
intimidating for someone
Absolutely.
than that
And especially,
larger intersection.
especially with ADA compliance and stuff like that, trying
Oh,
to get
sure.
people in as well.
So this access, would it have parking available to park and unload your canoe? And
I would imagine it is. That's not. I haven't
Yeah.
concepted this part out yet, but the phase 1 and 2 concepts are that way.
And how far upriver from the mouth of the Crow are you proposing that this should be?
Well, like I said, there's just one option that there's available there. That's one of the places that we're looking at. I don't know. We haven't really explored that too far
Okay.
yet.
And just-
But there is a. We want to do something on the Crow.
Okay.
But I haven't identified a site yet. There's 2 places that we've looked at. Both are possible, but we're not really concept them out yet at all.
Is that something that the Parks Commission would like to see? Is a access like Marty is mentioning with an access for canoes? If you are, I think it's mostly right around that orange square, basically on the screen for you. If you are, then I can provide that feedback to the EDA, and we can possibly add it into the plan at this time. Again, doesn't mean it's going to happen for sure, but it's just a plan. And at least provide the feedback back to the EDA if you'd like to see that. Now, again, I don't know if that'll go through, but at least the feedback has been provided. If not, then that's fine. We can leave it as it sits today.
I just don't see the benefit having it that close to the existing one that's at the mouth of the river there. And if it was farther upstream, it might make more sense. But it looks like it's just right across the road, right there, within a block of each other.
It's just a totally different kind of access. That's
Sure. Is that what I hear is consensus from the Parks Commission?
yeah, I think we need to go up further
Sure.
on the Crow.
Sure. Okay.
We've got parking availability in the DNR landing, and that's pretty primo, I think.
It'd be nice if we could have a launch more geared at small watercraft, but that's obviously far out of our control.
Yeah, DNR, we don't have any control over what
Yeah.
they do there. And DNR isn't particularly ADA compliant, ADA accessible for handicapped person getting into a canoe there. So that's one of the big deals with this thing.
That's the value, is not just that you're launching in a different spot, but you're launching
Yeah.
a different kind of craft and that you're opening it to a wider audience of people.
Exactly.
I see the value. I'm inclined to agree. It'd be nice if it was further downriver or upriver.
Well, like I say, this is an opportunity. We're not tied to that, but it's something that somebody has expressed interest in being part of it to me. There's the other spot further down the river, but yeah, I don't know when that person will be a willing seller. So
This interest has been expressed for this spot that's closer. Do we have an idea of, like, is there a cost, at least with the land?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
It's just very high level. So
If it was basically free, it's like, what's there to lose? But
there are
you still have to put in the infrastructure for it as well.
yeah. I've had a very loose conversation with somebody about it, and there's a lot of ideas being expressed, but I don't know how firm any of that is at all. So I'm just saying it's a potential.
Sure.
I think if we get this trail put in, when things begin to open up, I think Otsego would approach us and see if they could join the club.
Oh, I'm expecting quite a few people to want to join the club here pretty soon. After the April 12th meeting, the MSA people and I are going to reach out to some communities around us to see if they've got any interest in talking with us now. They were all contacted when we first started this. I think a lot of them stood back and wanted to see if it was something that was going to turn into something real. So I'm expecting to have a lot of positive feedback from that, and we will be reaching out to other communities saying, hey, this is where we're at, this is our plan, what are your thoughts? Yeah, we'd love you to be part of it. And of course, the National Park Service are going to help us with that effort as well.
Maybe this is selfish, but what concerns me is the park on the other side of Cloquet Island, which is a county park. And they stole Cloquet Island from us. There's no reason why they can't steal the thunder. So we just have to use caution, I think.
I think the National Park Service are really using Dayton as the spearhead, so we're going to be recognised as that, as far as they're concerned. So they're going to, everything branding is going to be branded from Dayton's signage hierarchy, so that's going to be incorporated into the National Park Service stuff. So we will always be seen as the starting point of this trail.
That would be good, because we have lost that with Elm Creek, which is in Maple Grove.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it just takes a little bit of branding. We can bring it back.
Make it pop.
Any other comments on the Historic Village? Just want to try to keep us on task.
You've got enough information?
Yeah, whatever you guys want to provide. I'm just going to provide the feedback right to the EDA. So I'm just the conduit. That's it.
How about the Dayton Trails priority discussion?
All right, so that's why I had to go get a piece of paper.
Thank you.
I found out what Alec had, and I'm having all kinds of trouble trying to remember what was what on this, how this was put together, because there's just a lot of straw down this side here. So can any of you guys remember what we prioritized there?
Looks like there's a line for Deerwood, isn't there?
I don't know.
I think that's what that is.
So
Hot dog.
this is what I had to go from. So do you want to reopen this discussion and prioritize this again from a decent map?
Aren't they all numbered?
But I can't understand the numbering. We've got 1, 2.
That work session would have been recorded,
There's
right?
other stuff in here as well.
So we could rewatch it on our own time, of course.
Does anybody know what work session that was?
So the first one we wanted was
I could
this.
find it, I think.
Yeah.
And then we wanted this going here. And then number 4 was here. We just kind of divided them because
Right. Yeah, the first one was
So it's
Right,
1, 2,
so this is 1, 2,
2.
4.
3, I think, was because we wanted some type of being able to cross on this pine view.
Yep.
Because you have all of this here and we're trying to get people to Elm Creek. So we want something like a tunnel or a roundabout or something right in there. So that was number 3 that we wanted to look at. 4 is this section.
5.
5 was getting this all connected up. Yeah, yeah,
Was this part right there.
yeah,
And then 6 was this section
yep.
there.
Is it this yellow section, is that?
Yeah, it was basically connecting up to whatever was existing or was going to go into that area there.
Okay.
Yeah. The big thing that was brought up, as I recall, was the fact we have a lot of trails that stop,
The dead end.
and
So
then
we were trying to.
quarter mile away or
Yeah.
even closer, there's another trail, and it's
So we were
connecting the
trying
loops.
to connect all
Yeah.
the little tiny.
Okay, well what I'll do is I'll take this and I'll try and make a decent graphic of it and then bring that back to you. I will try and get some pricing from Stantec as well from this, and then we can have a better discussion on that. That works?
Yeah. And if you have that ready before the meeting, could you email it out?
Yeah.
Just so we could
Yeah.
have
Is it done yet?
Because I remember we have that trail coming all the way up into Champlin, and it ends.
And then it just dead ends.
Yeah.
And on Balsam, same deal.
Yes.
Well,
So we were trying
Yeah,
to.
at the end of Balsam there.
Right, you can almost price seed.
Well, it's wherever we had development going.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I got it. So the other thing that I wanted to try and show tonight, if I can, I've been talking quite a lot about the GIS thing that we've been working on for trails and parks. So I've got a,
Let me know when it's red, Marty, I'll switch you over.
Don't forget your mic, Marty.
uh,
Taller from the back.
all right, we're red. Let's see.
I won't lie, I don't know if it's recording currently, so apologize
Okay.
for anybody at home that's watching on Zoom,
Let's
because
see if we can get
it may not be recording.
So I wanted to go back a little bit. So when you go into the Trails dashboard, which will be on the city website, maybe I can go back one. This page will come up. This isn't showing very well. Come on. Technology, I love it. It doesn't come back in. Trail. So you go to the city website, and this is what you'll come up to, this page here. It's called Dashboards. And then you just go through and pick the... There will only be one icon on this page, and that will be for the Trails and Parks dashboard. I'm in there, you'll come into this page, and hopefully, yes, it'll display just a park count and some stats there, and you can see how we develop out over the years. It's got the proposed trail miles, the existing sidewalk miles, and the existing trail miles. So this is just a very early beta test on this, so there's going to be some changes that we need to make. But on here, you will see in the developments, the trails are marked. The trails are existing trails that are in orange, solid orange. So the trails through River Hills are shown here, going all the way up into the River Hills playground area. The parks will be shown, they're just shown as green blobs at the moment, but they will have names on them. And I'm hoping to have it so we can go to Google Maps and go to Google Street View so you can actually see what's in the park there. We're trying to link that up. There's still a lot of work to do on this yet, like Cloquet isn't shown all the way through here. But the orange dashed lines are the proposed trails, and they need to be labelled as well. But that's the West Mississippi Trail coming down there through to this, all the way through down to the edge of the Dayton border. And so all of the other sidewalk is shown as yellow. There's some sidewalk that's shown as trail at the moment that needs to be shown as trail, but it's, like I say, it's kind of very basic. When we click on the parks, there's going to be some information there about what's at the park, amenities that are in the park listed out. I'd also like to put some park information. We've always talked about having historical data for the parks, so if we could put some of that stuff in there, it would be really good. So I just wanted to kind of show you that what we're working on, and that something is happening on it, because I've talked about it so many times, and
That
I was
is
kind
really
of
cool.
losing. I think you were losing your patience with me a little there.
No.
No, I've used it a lot.
And so it also shows the Medicine Lake Trail, I believe, coming down here, all the way down through Pineview, which is in place now, and into the Park District here.
That's the one that comes out of Diamond Lake, goes south.
Well, this one,
North
That's-
Diamond Lake Road south.
North Diamond Lake. Are you talking North Diamond Lake Road, or are you talking Diamond Lake?
Diamond Lake.
Isn't that the Diamond Lake Regional Trail that you're talking about? This is the Medicine Lake Trail.
No, the Medicine Lake Trail goes through Diamond Lake, I thought.
I thought that was the new one that they're proposing, the Diamond Lake Trail.
That terminates in Gooden.
Yeah. That comes all the way around here from the interchange, I thought.
I may be stand corrected then.
That's what I understand anyway, Doug. So, yeah, like I said, there needs to be a lot of work on here, but I just wanted to show you that we have been making some changes to this. So currently, you can see I'm a keyboard wizard. Yeah. So in the parks at the moment, it's just got basic information that the engineers want. It doesn't really show us anything about what's in there. There's a little amenities thing here, but we want to do something more than that.
Super cool.
And so I'm hoping this will be on the website and accessible to the public, and hopefully we can put this onto the app, or at least a link to this from the city app once we get that developed.
Cool. That's great.
I
Yeah.
like it.
One idea or bit of feedback I'd have is if you could do a similar thing with the amenities, add some metadata on the trails. Maybe you're already doing it, but things like width and appropriate uses. And then in the future, it becomes really easy to make a winter use map versus a summer use map. Like,
Sure.
these ones are for horses versus inline skates or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
once you have the metadata there, you can just use it in the future.
And I'll try and get some data from Three Rivers Park District to, for the Eastman Nature Centre, and see if we can get that stuff incorporated in here
Yeah,
as
all
well.
their
the
GIS
trail.
stuff is on their
Yeah.
site for freely available.
So this is just a very early start, but I figured I'd better show you something.
No, you can get it much more detailed. The one I had at the university had every single street light. And then I could just punch up on it and I know exactly what was there, what wattage the bulb was.
Yeah.
where
So
it
this
set.
is
So you can
this
do a
is
lot of
just
that.
for parks and trails. We got road, streets, and water utilities, and all the other kind of stuff. But that's not all going to be there for the public.
No, you don't want that.
But this stuff, I think, the general information for people who are going to visit the city and want to know what's at the parks and how to get there and that kind of stuff. That's where I want this to go.
I like it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay, good. So yeah, I will figure that out. Now we've got a good plan, and we'll take it from there.
And as you brought that up, we do need to know which side of Dayton River Road the trail's going to go, because I think on your map there, it goes from one side to the other. And
Yeah, it does
I
vary.
thought we were discussing the fact it should stay on one side most of the way.
And I think that they pulled this together. It may have been from some older information.
Just past Pioneer, Marty, I think it did.
Yeah.
Yeah. There
I
is,
just noticed, just kind of floated over the
Yeah,
road.
just
yeah.
Did I miss it?
Oh, keep going. Right
Yeah, yeah.
there. You're close.
Oh,
Right past
see, there's my.
Pioneer.
I hate this computer. There it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So they pulled this together from some basic information, so we can make adjustments to that stuff. But once I get it further along, I want to get some feedback from you guys. That's what this looks like and what's missing, what needs to be added.
Yeah.
I've got a list of stuff that I want to do at the moment, but
very cool.
okay. Well, that's what I have for that. Just while I got the mic, I just wanted to say something. Just update on the water trails. We applied for some grant funding. I got letters of support from a few people. Doug sent me one from Park Commission and Elm Creek Watershed. I think that Dean Phillips is very interested in it. I think we made it through to his list of 15. I haven't got that confirmed. So each representative gets 15 projects from the state to forward to the Federal Appropriations Committee. He was very interested in ours. I think it went through. I haven't got it confirmed yet. But if that happens, then we're asking for the full funded amount for phase 1 of the Water Trails project, which includes Gooding Park and L.C. Stevens Park put-ins. So we would work with Three Rivers Park District on there, but we would have funding for that whole area.
And who are you you're going through
Dean
the
Phillips?
National Park Service on that?
No, this is something separate. This is something that I've initiated through Dean Phillips' office.
Through whose?
Dean Phillips.
Oh, Dean Phillips. Oh, okay, good.
So we're hopeful that that's going on. His office was super helpful. I had something like 10 letters of support from DNR, Three Rivers Park District, Friends of the Mississippi, National Park Service. There are a few others that were involved with that. The other thing, on the 12th, the next week? Yeah, 12th is that National Park Service meeting. I know some of you wanted to be included on a Zoom call. If you let me know who wants to be included on that, I can forward the invitation to you guys.
Okay, yeah, great.
So, yeah, just email me and let me know, and then I'll forward that thing to anybody who wants to be on it.
Do you recall offhand what time of day it is?
Oh, no.
No sweat.
No, I don't recall.
I don't know what day the 12th is.
I know I got a full day of that one because I'm meeting the MSA early on in the morning because we're doing a presentation there. So that's
Okay,
good.
when is that meeting?
Next Wednesday.
April 12th.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's a daytime, I'm interested.
It's a daytime
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
It's definitely a daytime. I'm not sure what time it starts, but it's definitely a daytime meeting. I'm not allowed out in St. Paul in the evening.
No, I got class. It's for the safety of that city, right?
Yeah, let's put it that way.
Okay, is that it? Mm-hmm. Next on the agenda is the Trail Cleanup Day discussion.
So that was an idea that I had sent in. I don't know that it's possible now because I then found out about Dayton River Road being closed. But the last time in the fall when I went with my family to go hiking, or just not really hiking, but on the trails, walking on the trails at Cloquet Overlook Park, when you go down by the Mississippi River, there's just trash all through that area. So I was just thinking, could we host like a city cleanup day and we ask volunteers to come and help clean up? So I wanted to know if something like that was feasible for some of our trails and some of our parks. But like I said, now Dayton River Road is closed all summer, so everywhere where I've seen it is along the Mississippi, and so there's no way to get into that area.
And I think
We got a request, was it Red Wing? Zach
That is correct.
had requested the city to join a Mississippi cleanup.
Mighty Mississippi Cleanup Day.
Thank you.
Oh, so there already is a day.
We don't have one planned, but they have one that they're working on. They're
City
trying to get cities all along the Mississippi to join it. So I think that's going to councils, maybe?
Correct. So I did send it off to council, would have been last week, as an initiative from the city of Red Wing that is looking to have all of the communities that are along the Mississippi River to be able to basically come together in one day and clean up the Mississippi on one day. I can most certainly forward you the email that I had received from the contact at Red Wing. They put together a nice YouTube video of what they're looking to do, and then just asked if you were going to join. Please let them know so they can advertise it that it's going to be they're looking at having it on Earth Day, which is April 22nd. Might be a little difficult with the snow.
Yeah.
I would say the snow
Yeah.
or I was worried about early spring with the water levels possible
Yeah.
this year.
Yes, I would.
So I think it's a great idea. My concern was just with the amount of water we have out there and snow.
Yeah.
It looks like it says, as long as you organize a cleanup event between April 15th and May 15th. Count how many people are participating in the cleanup and submit a photo of the group and follow the steps. Looks like it's also being coordinated with Goodhue County. And you will be recognized for your high achievement in the mighty Mississippi cleanup.
I think we're having an interesting spring.
I don't know that.
Yeah, the spring of '97 comes to mind, as I recall, when we had Galloway Park behind my house underwater. So, yeah, and last year it was also had some water in it. But the city is also having a cleanup day on May 6th, and that might be something to kind of coordinate with, do that in the future with when the city has their cleanup day to incorporate that. Another suggestion is that we reach out to some of the organizations around to coordinate that as a cleanup day too, to do something along the river. And there are groups that are looking for service projects, especially through the high school.
There's also the North Diamond. Is there a group around North Diamond Lake too? That they kind of been treating North Diamond Lake, trying to get the ecology back.
The North Diamond Lake Association.
I think they might be interested in participating in something like that too.
So every year cleanup day, they do a cleanup around the lake and bring the stuff up to us. So they'll do Diamond Lake Road and around the lake there on that day.
Oh, that's great that there's things going on. I just didn't know, so I thought I'd bring it up.
If the Parks Commission wants to do something and coordinate something like that, I think the city would help out with being able to do something like the helping Diamond Lake Association do that same thing, is that they could bring the trash up to us. So I don't know if we want to have, I think it'd be great for the Parks Commission to be able to push that through, to be able to really spearhead that project, that we feel that that's something that's needed, because that would be a good thing to put your stamp on and say that's what you can provide, a park cleanup day or something like that.
And we could do parks not just on the river.
Yeah, just in general. That's what I'm saying.
Also, Wildwood Springs is on the river, but not impacted by the Dayton closure. So I think it's a great idea, and I'd love to be involved with it.
Yeah, I would say, like I said, if you could even do one member of the Parks Commission per park, and just pick a park that you want to sponsor that year for the Parks Commission, and say, clean up that park, and then bring up the trash on that day, and we'll take care of it up here at City Hall.
Yeah.
With the new neighborhoods, maybe able to get some of the neighborhood HOAs on board with trying to get people out to clean up some of the parks in the area too, or like Rivers Bend Park, that's really active with a lot of the people down there. Maybe just to get almost like a neighborhood night out kind of thing, but instead like clean up your neighborhood park initiative.
Will there be access to L.C. Stevens Farm Park maintained via the underpass throughout the closure?
Yes.
Cool. So
Yes.
Well, hopefully by next week we'll have access to get into there if all the snow melts.
yes, snow aside, right?
Yeah. I don't think that plowing that area is a high priority for us, and I don't think it should be.
No, agreed.
Yeah, but
I was just curious with if they were going to shut that down, like for safety, if the construction necessitates that no one go under the bridge or something.
No,
Cool.
no, as I understand it, the county is just shutting down sections. You can get at it from each side, but you can't cross over, and they're doing one culvert at a time. Is that correct?
yeah, so they want to close the whole thing down just because it's a rolling thing.
Right. Yeah.
Through traffic.
Yeah, to through traffic.
Right.
Yeah, so it's they're doing 2 culverts at a time. They've got 2 crews out there, so they're working on 2 crews at the moment. There's going to be times where once they got the culvert, the road's going to be just totally, there's no road there once they put the culvert in. And so they just want to be on the safer side. So
Yeah, went through that when they redid River Road through Champlin, working around that, so it's nothing new.
So when is, what are they scheduled to open up the road again?
I think I was at a meeting today. Their plan is to be July 16th, somewhere in that neighbourhood. That's what they're saying today. So I'm going to a weekly meeting there. So as soon as I get information, I can share it with Zach, and we'll put something up on the website so people know what's going on there.
We taking pictures to add to the website or not?
I haven't done any pictures of that yet. If you want pictures, I'm sure I can get out there. I don't know. I mean, it's
People might be interested in what's going on.
Of the road work, or the culvert work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I took some pictures the other day.
okay. Would you want a drone flyover or something like that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I need a drone.
Well, if they're doing any GIS documentation, that might be something to include in your stuff so you know what's there.
Yeah, and they do share that stuff with us anyway. So they will be taking GIS coordinates of all that stuff and elevations, so we will have access to that information. They're pretty good about sharing that kind of information, but not so much on when they're actually going to close the thing.
Okay. So have we come to any conclusion there as far as cleanup goes?
Yeah, what's a good step for the commission to take to start advertising that maybe or something so that people know it's a thing and or organizing it? I think it's a great idea, especially if we coordinate it with the city cleanup day and
Yeah, what I would recommend is the Parks Commission just comes up with a date and a plan, preferably tonight, unfortunately, because of the timing, if you're looking to do it, just so you can have a proper notice. The city's willing and able to help with promotion of it if that's what you
Sure.
need, which is that's no big deal. But it would likely be something that we need to do tonight in order to provide information to everybody in sufficient time to say May 6th, which is a Saturday, we're going to do park cleanup, whether that's one park or 4 parks or whatever.
May 6th is the citywide cleanup day?
That is correct.
It's my birthday too.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, I'll actually be out of town that day, so I won't be able to help.
You're the lucky one.
If that's the day we want to do
I
it.
don't know if I can commit or not. I gotta figure out my schedule on that, but yeah, I can see that as a possibility.
nothing else. I'll go clean up Wildwood Springs. It's right by my house.
I'm not gonna be here.
I'll be in town.
Well, it doesn't have to be May
It
6th.
does
No.
not
No.
need to be
No.
that day.
No.
No, it does not.
But I would, if you want, I would suggest having a month, kind of lead up announcement time frame so we can post it a couple times on Facebook and website and get people to figure out their schedules, as schedules do fill up
Right.
quickly. It does not have to be May 6th, but that just coordinates
Okay.
with the city cleanup
I'm
day.
willing to go check a couple of parks in that week period to see if they're even feasible to do any cleaning then, because I think that would be something to check and see when is the best time to do it. Personally, I think when the river is down, it would be a lot better, so maybe August or early September.
Yeah, that's
would
what I
be-
was gonna say.
Would be a time to do cleanup.
If the road's opening up in July, then why don't we start putting a plan together for August?
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be a one on the Mississippi either. It could be any park
Yeah.
within the
Yeah,
community
when the
too.
snow melts, we'll find stuff that's been left over. That's what I was thinking with spring, but again, that can just be an ad hoc activity.
Yep. Or we're going to say we would.
It's something to look at in the future. I don't
Sure.
think we have time or the personnel available to really get something going, so.
Sure.
Maybe do some investigating, John, you and I, or anybody else can go look at some parks during, this spring in late April, early May, just walking, to see if it even is feasible, but
I know when we do the Lions, when we do the Fernbrook cleanup, we time it so it's the snow's gone, but it's not too soggy that you sink in at the same time.
Right, yeah.
But you also want to do it early enough that you get to see a nice clean road for the majority of the summer until it gets dirty. It's just not easy in Minnesota, is it?
So you two guys are gonna look at,
I want to look at a couple of parks.
The parks?
Yeah, I'll get out and
And
I'll be out
we'll
with my
make a
kids
plan.
anyway.
Yeah, just see if it's even feasible to do it in May, which, just see where the parks are at or where the access is, and then come back with a recommendation and then at the next meeting or so.
And that would be a recommendation for it's a good time of year to do it, like next year we're thinking.
Yeah,
Because by the time we found it out, it's
Wow.
the time's passed. But we could also do a fall one when
and
we can-
I'm thinking a fall one is going to be what we're going to end up saying.
sure. And that's good to get it clean before the snow falls. And
Because I think, was it Red Wing you said was the city's doing it? Yeah.
That is correct. City of Red Wing in Goodhue County. That is correct.
Yeah, I think that's a little early for them because I think they're going to be dealing with flood water at that time.
I'm not putting on their event. They're putting on their own.
It just makes it that much easier to
Yep.
clean if
Yeah,
most of the
just
trash
toss
is
it,
washed
you know.
away.
We wish them all
They
the
might
luck.
be out in their canoes doing it.
And once the water trail's in, we have
Yeah.
access. There we go. It's coming together.
It's not good.
Yeah.
I
We
was on
might
the
not
river
have
when
a
it was
lot of
flooding.
trash,
Not
but
good.
everybody from Monticello is giving theirs to us.
Well, I think they're.
After the
you know,
floods
I found-
leave, there's a mess.
And if,
I've seen it already.
and if you run across a couple of floating dock sections, please let me know.
You're still looking for those? I told you, down in Louisiana, you got to go and get them.
I've lost so much stuff. Oh. Okay, are we done with that? Cleanup?
Sure.
Sure.
Community service questions and discussion.
Okay, that was me too. I just wanted, since we're doing all this planning, I was just wondering if there might be a way that we could do a citywide survey to see what people actually want. I was talking to my brother, and he lives in Texas, and he was so upset because he's into pickleball, and they only have a few courts, and then they just announced that their city is putting in 3 cricket fields. And he was like, why are we putting in cricket fields
Those are
when
insects, aren't they?
nobody plays cricket, you know? And he was so upset. And I said, well, do you go to your Parks Commission? And then we had this huge discussion about it. And I thought, is there some way that we can just ask? I mean, like, I personally don't have any pets, but we're starting to get a lot of smaller lots. Is it time to have a dog park? You know what I mean? Like, those are things that I don't necessarily think of because I'm not a part of. So is there a way to do a citywide, have it on the website, to do a survey or something so that we actually find out what it is that people want instead of us just picking cricket fields when nobody wants cricket fields?
Well, if you send me enough surveys, we'll have cricket here, okay?
Let me just back up.
I mean, and I
What is the name of a cricket field? Like,
It's a field.
no, it isn't.
No.
You think it's a pitch?
A pitch.
It's a soccer pitch. It's a
Soccer's a
cricket
pitch.
field.
okay, so I'm even saying it wrong. Well, that's how much I know about cricket.
Wow, I can teach you.
And
if you
if
got
we need it, then that's great. But I just want to make sure
No.
we're putting in what it is that people want.
For sure. And I know that before we did a whole amenities study for the Park Commission. And I think that might be a good place to start. But we didn't put that out to the public. That was just something that was pulled together through the Park Commission. And that's a very extensive list of everything from a polo field to rodeo grounds.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I don't know if that would form any part of this survey. I don't know what results we get from a survey. I know Therese was looking at doing some survey stuff as well, so I don't know if that would incorporate into what you're thinking.
Yes. So I am working on a citywide survey for Parks and Recreation. So honestly, if you want to think of some questions, look at that previous list, come up with some questions of what you think might be good for the community, and then we can go out and ask the community if that's what they actually want. So kind of narrow down that field, and we can continue that conversation. And I'm hoping to get the survey ready to go for the city open house and have that kind of as the launch date.
I think that
And
the
when
thing
is
with
the city
surveys
open
is,
house?
May 17th.
I think the thing with surveys is you don't want to do too many and you don't want to make them too long that people don't
Right.
fill them in.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I mean,
I'm-
we've learned that in the past when we've had people come and talk about their parks, what they want for the neighborhood park. You know, Hayden Hills, they essentially wanted everything you have at a destination park for their neighborhood park. The splash pad, and they didn't want ball fields. They wanted this or that, and you get a feel for it. But you got to be able to do a survey in such a manner that we know what you're going to get and what it takes to do that.
right.
A field of sunflowers?
Oh, gosh, yeah. And speaking before we finish, Marty, if you could update us where you're going to be at, or if things are going to get bumped out of priority.
no, we are number one priority on their seeding list, yeah. So as soon as that,
And we have the other stuff on the schedule as far as soon as they can, finishing up the park stuff that wasn't done from last year?
Yeah.
What are we on? Are we on a different subject now?
No, I just asked Marty to update us, but,
So
Sorry.
let's go back to the survey.
okay.
Who's going to pull together survey questions?
I'm working on it. So I am doing a survey, so we can certainly incorporate park-related questions. So if you have questions that you want on the survey I'm sending out, that would be the time to do it.
Okay, and when do you need that?
By our next meeting.
Okay,
So could that list that was previously compiled be shared out with us via email?
Yeah.
Yes, I will look for that.
And then-
Yeah.
I'd assume it's somewhere in the depths of.
I know I've got one on my server as well, so I can
Okay.
figure that out.
Awesome.
You'd probably just want like one or two questions. We don't want to make your survey too long, but
Yeah.
Right, yeah, just maybe a couple hot points.
like
that
multiple
you're-
choice so that it's not a free-form rodeo, polo,
Yeah.
cricket mix-up.
Yeah, it could go either way. If you get me the bones of it, I can
Cool.
wordsmith it as well.
Perfect.
So, as long as I know what you're looking for.
okay, good, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, Jack, did you have
I
other
just
questions?
would like to have Marty update us where we got prioritized for getting done.
Leathers Park.
Leathers Park, first of all, as soon as the snow is gone and the ground's firm enough, they're going to be in there seeding that out straight away.
It's been sprayed, is that correct?
It's all sprayed, it's all tilled over, it's ready to go. They just got to get the seed in the ground. They ran out of time. They got that rainstorm last year that just
Right.
put a crimper in the whole thing. As far as the park improvements for 2024, those will be, again, as soon as the parks are clear of snow and the ground is firm enough. There's some the minor stuff to do on Hayden Hills and Donahue Dells. There's some tidy up stuff there and make sure that the seed's taken and that kind of stuff. The pickleball court has got to be resurfaced because there was a couple of bubbles in the paint and stuff that needs to be done there. And the same with the basketball court there. So they will get to that temperature has to be 50 degrees before
Right.
they can put that stuff down. So there's a little bit of work to do on that. Other than that, I think those two parks are pretty good. Stevens, we're still working with some bridge problems over there. We had some bad soils over there that we're trying to figure out what we need to do for the bridge construction there. Primarily, it's the bridge on the south end has got some bad soils and it needs some different structures to support it. So we're looking at prices, getting second opinion on that. And then I will need to talk with the Three Rivers Park District about additional costs or what that might look like and
This
come
is
back with some...
The bridge for the walking path?
Yeah, the
trail?
walking path, the trail path there, 10-foot wide trail there that they have. So I'm working through that. The rest of the stuff, as soon as we're able to get access into there
Okay.
and work out, we will be doing that. Again, with the road closure, it's going to be a little bit tricky in there. We're probably going to have to access through River Hills estate.
I was just more or less curious on the stuff that you were waiting on for certain supplies and stuff like that, if you've gotten all that stuff that you were waiting on. I thought there was some things for Hayden Hills for the park they were missing.
No, that's all. I've got that all in stock.
Okay.
And the one thing that we need to do over there, we've run out of time, is there's some rubberized footing that
Okay.
needs to go in that. And I think there's one area at Hayden that needs that as well.
Okay, just-
But all the playground stuff came in over the winter. They managed to get part of it done. There's still a couple of swings that need to be hung on that playground in Hayden Hills.
Well, that's good, because I know there's, supply shortages and delays and stuff.
Now, I have them at the shop, so
That's
we
good to
can-
hear.
For Leathers, do we have any possibility for like signage, like upcoming prairie or something in progress, so folks other than Jack and I know it's not just a mud pit to take your four-wheeler through?
I'm relying on you two to spread the word and stand
All right,
out
I'll print something
in a
off.
yellow vest
I'll go
and
to
say,
Kinko's.
"Oi, off of this, prairie coming in," in your best British accent, okay?
I'll work on that.
But now I can get some signage done for that if you want. We've got some
Cool.
A-frame stuff that we can put in there.
Just as both an informative and I know there's a couple of folks that like to ride their four-wheelers around and, not going to keep someone who's motivated from mudding out, but keep an honest person from knowing this is just a playground for you to romp in.
I thought that was you going down the street on two
Nope.
wheels.
I only got a snowmobile and it's put away for the year now.
So, just trying to keep the kids out of there so they aren't doing donuts all the time.
Okay.
So do we have what would be the master plan we could use in the parks? Just as a checklist as to what's going on, is there any such thing?
No, I am that checklist, I think, at the moment.
Like the in-progress projects, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you want? What's the purpose of the checklist? Just to keep you guys up to speed with what you do, what's happening, or do you want me to send you out an email?
Master plan as to what needs to be done and progress report?
I can send out an update of the projects that are ongoing once a week or whatever you want, or am I
Well-
missing the point here, Doug?
Well, this is very difficult for me to say because I don't want to burden you with anything more than we absolutely have to. But I think it's important that we know what's coming up and what needs to be done.
So maybe not even periodic, like weekly, but just like what's Marty's to-do list for the spring and the summer?
Or you don't want to know what maintenance that we're doing? Is that what level do you want it to go down to? Is it just the playground's going to be finished at Hayden Hills at such and such a date? The pickleball court is at this stage, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or do you want me to let you know we've got crews mowing 3 times a week? They'll be at such and such a park on Monday. It's just the bigger things are on the parks that we're developing,
Yeah.
and any other things that
I
happen
have
along the
one
way.
suggestion, which we could do is you could do something on the website and just have a Excel file or something of items that are still left outstanding now that the project is, because the site plans and all the drawings, everything are on the website underneath park improvement projects. And so just an overview timeline is still there. We could provide some sort of PDF of items left to do in 2023 for each park. That way everybody knows what's left to do. So when we're out there looking at it, they go, oh, well, they had to install swings at Hayden Hills. That makes
Yeah.
sense. That's on their list of to-do things.
Maybe add leathers to this.
That would be
Leathers
good
is
if it's
not on this.
too much
Right, yeah, I'm looking. I
trouble.
think this. I didn't realize this was on there, or maybe I had looked at this, but
I'm just saying what we could do is, if what your request is what it's left to do this year for those projects, I think. And if you wanted to add just one document of here's the items that are left, which you just mentioned, Marty, probably wouldn't take that long to just write it down on a piece of paper and just throw it up on a PDF on the website. It wouldn't take long at all. But that way we would know, here's what we have to do left. And when people see it's done, that means it's been done on the list.
Because that's the questions
Yep.
we're being asked, is,
Yep.
what's going on here? I don't know.
Correct.
Do they have this yet? I don't know. That's-
Correct.
We know how to say that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I think it's equally good that it's on the website, right?
Yeah.
Because then the answer can be, I don't know off the tip of my tongue, but it should be on the city website.
and that'll
then-
be more kept up to date than.
Then everyone has access to it, not just the 5 people or 6,
Correct.
whoever. Like if the community has access to the information, it's even better in my mind.
Yes.
It looks like Leathers Park is on the city's park list.
It's on the list, but it's not on the projects of to do this year.
Under city projects, park improvement projects.
Okay, so water trails, that we're working on, and we've got a handle on that, right?
Damn straight I have. Yeah.
One of the last items I'd like to bring up is Magnus and the Diamond Lake Association. Are we embracing those folks as well as we could, or is there more we can do? I know that Magnus would dearly love to improve Diamond Lake, as well as the association. As far as the watershed is concerned, we are implementing plans. The watershed can invest in hard assets, but what we don't do is we don't kill weeds and do temporary fixes. That's why I sort of got sideways with the Lake Association when the watershed wouldn't step up and help them kill the weeds. That's just not our program. So what can we do? The city is still supporting
The
the
city,
Lake Association.
the city matches, right? We cover half the cost of what the lake is, of the cost of trying to treat North Diamond Lake.
That is correct, yeah. So the city of Dayton covers up to $10,000 or 50% of the cost to treat the weeds or invasive species in Diamond Lake every year. That historically is run at 10 grand or less, but that is what we will fund up to. I don't know if they'll be able to do the full treatment like they have been doing the last few years because of the exemption that they had from the association to get it down so they could spot treat this year and not do a whole lake treatment. It has significantly cut down on the weeds in that lake, so it is actually usable and not just one giant weed field. But I don't know the update. That would be something the association could do. So that is what our involvement is as the city with the Diamond Lake Association, Magnus Foundation, etc. We aren't able to promote a non-city item because that means we would be causing preference over some other foundation. That's why we haven't, say for example, we can't just promote Magnus because we have to promote every foundation equally. We could not pick one, as we can't be a recommending body to anybody. That is what the city's stance is and should be, because we don't want to be that person that says this is what we support, but that we don't support this one over here. That's why we have not done anything specifically, but that's why we don't. Not like we don't want to attend their events, just we attend them just like any other event would be. But I don't think we've been at much of attendance that I'm aware of at any of the Magnus Foundation events because of that reason.
And the Lakes Association, they came in the second half of last year to City Council and did a presentation where they talked about kind of how things are going and progressing. And that's where they asked for the funding for this current year to treat again. And I guess as they'll come in this fall.
I would assume yes.
Are they working with the DNR on all this too?
Yes.
Okay.
The watershed is just concluding the Diamond Creek sub-watershed assessment. And a sub-watershed assessment is the first step in developing a plan to improve the lake quality or the stream quality for that particular area. So we're just completing that right now, and then we'll put our heads together on a plan as to how we can implement that plan. And hopefully, eventually, that'll turn around and it'll start cleaning up, so.
One thing with regards to Magnus, the Diamond Lake Regional Trail, the approved trail goes through their property, so that'll be a nice linkage for them. They'll have direct access to the trail, and folks will have access into there. And that's not a city thing; that's Three Rivers, but that is the route the trail goes, is right through them. So I think that's something they were pretty excited for.
Yeah, I think when they were surveyed by Three Rivers, they were really wanted to have that come through there. They were more than happy to have
If
that
their
come
members
there.
direct access to the trail, and
Yeah.
vice versa, can bring folks in on their bikes or their whatever. So.
Yeah, those trails are 12-foot trails.
10. I think they're 10.
I thought they expanded them
Well,
out
they
to
might
12,
have.
but maybe
I thought they were 10.
This map doesn't say, it's just the.
Okay. Is there anything else anybody would like to bring up at the meeting today?
Yeah, for the city open house, as Parks Commission members, are we able / encouraged to attend or anything in that capacity?
Absolutely.
Okay, I've got my fancy name tag, so I'll wear it.
When is the city open house?
It is Wednesday, May 17th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Maybe hot dogs
And there's hot dogs and big trucks
and fire trucks.
and prizes and fun.
I'll make one more plug, and that is that these meetings, as well as other city meetings, are now on YouTube. It's free to subscribe to a channel on YouTube. It doesn't cost you anything, and you can get an alert every time a video is posted. So if you want to, anybody listening wants to go up to date on not only the Parks Committee information, but also EDA, planning, and the city council meetings, all of those are posted there now. They can be downloaded, and you can listen to them without your screen on while driving into work if you'd like to. So you can listen to them more as like podcasts to stay up to date on everything going on in the city.
I do like that. One thing that I like about the other mode is that they're broken out into topics. So not to sign whoever does that up for more work, but if possible, it'd be cool to do. You could do like chapters on YouTube. I've seen other, but again, not totally a want, not a need.
Yeah, it's something we should be able to do.
Anything else anybody would like to discuss? Motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Motion carries. Thank you to everybody.